Well, hey, it's Theresa Steele with 101 Lakes Living, and today I have with me Angela Wirick, and she is the chair of the Friends of Pokagon nonprofit, which is a nonprofit that supports Pokagon and the different events, the different programming they have here to connect with the community.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the mission of the organization and how it began?
Well, I was not a part of where it began, but it was back in 2018 that people in the community started talking about the need for supporting the park.
Okay.
I mean, it's state funded, it's a state park, but there's also limitations in some of that funding.
Okay.
And there had been other state parks that had already had friends groups.
Okay.
We ended up being the 20th in the state, and I don't know how many state parks there are, I should have checked that. But the 20th one organized, but the whole mission is just that we support their programming on our winter hikes. The Naturalist has a lot of hikes, the park has a lot of things that they do during the summer, like their programs. So we help with that in the sense that, like at the winter hikes, we have hot cocoa and cookies. Their hoedown in the fall, we have apple cider and popcorn a lot of times.
Okay.
Volunteers when they need extra people. So on the hike, when the Naturalist leaves, she wants somebody to caboose it in case there's like issues. So she asked us to help with that stuff. But then there's also the funding. And so when the park has, the state has money, has funding, but there's also a limited budget. And so there's sometimes where it's like an immediate need that to go through the red tape at times to get something, it's harder versus they can come to us and ask us to cover it. And so, we've bought, all the new tables in here and the chairs, the benches in the auditorium or in the bird watching area. The beach has a new stereo system out there when it comes to PA system.
Okay.
The Snowblowers for the toboggan run. So some stuff like that. So we're there to support that way.
And we're in the nature center, by the way.
Yes, the auditorium of the nature center. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then you had said something about those benches that had like a wood top on it. You guys had purchased those. So a lot of the extra equipment that when you need a quick decision, that's when you guys can step in and help. Okay. And so what are some of the different ways that, and I'm kind of getting off track here a little bit, I'll go back to this. What are some of the different ways that you fundraise to support those different programs? Other than the membership.
Right.
So
well, okay. The membership fees all go towards that. So it's like being a nonprofit. Any money that comes in goes directly out to whatever's going on in the park. The initial stuff that started back in 2018 when they did this stuff, they had a lot of donors that donated a good few thousand at a time, 10,000. That they initially had a good 20,000 to start off those years ago. And since then, it's dwindled a bit because of what we spend and donations come in. And so a couple of the hikes that the friends do themselves, like the Spooky Night hike, is all ours that we do. And there's a lot of donations that, we can get $400 in donations at times from that, which helps. It doesn't cover thousands of dollars that we put into tables and whatever. But so some of the fundraising, we're trying to organize more. So the wreaths that we did this year, they had done it once about 3 years ago. But then there's a whole big change in board members and nobody knew how to do it. So when we discovered the fact that we still had boxes and we had all the bunt pans, we're like, well, why aren't we doing this again? And so we restarted it. And so we have the wreaths that we sell this year is hopefully going to be a good fundraiser for us. But we're still trying to come up with some things. Some parks do breakfasts, at like a CCC shelter, which that's hopefully going to be renewed sometime, and then we'll have a kitchen to go do something like that. But we're still in the process of some of those fundraising. So a lot of it right now is based upon donation, this little bit of a fundraiser that we're doing. We're still building on that.
And like the renovations at the CCC shelter to put in a kitchen, and will you guys cover that?
Oh gosh, that's something that's still in a big, it's a hope sometime. So it's nothing that's organized. There's nothing going on with that right now. It's just one of those things that, hey, if it were to happen, that would be great because then we could use it. Some of the stuff here, this is a smaller area, but we wouldn't be able to, small kitchen, but we wouldn't be able to host something here. So that's something other parks do that we'd like to do, but we can't right now. So, but when it comes to funding something bigger like that, we would be behind helping fund it, but that would be a much bigger project that I think we could take on.
All right. So you do have these bird seed wreaths, and those are going for $25 a piece. And then you also have some other.
We had some ornaments. We're down to 2 right now. Haven't made any more, but they're stars. They're little star ornaments that we're selling for $5 each.
Okay.
We do have order forms that if somebody pre-orders that stuff, that we would make more of them. But right now, we're not sure about making more. And it's the first year we've done fundraiser in a few years, and so we're not sure how much to make ahead of time.
Okay. Where can they find that?
We have a website.
Okay.
That's something new just in the past couple months that we have up going. So friendsofpokagon.org has a website, and on that website there's some different links, but one of them clearly states this, that there's an order form that you can click on there, versus going to our Facebook page. You can also, there's links there that you can email info to friendsofpokagon.org, versus click on one of the message through one of the things on, I'm not all this Facebooky thing, but message through their type of stuff, and we've got our media people get on and check that stuff.
Okay.
And so.
Do you happen to know if is it a Facebook page or a Facebook group? Okay, never mind then. They can find it if they look for
If they look for Friends of Pokagon, they can find us on Facebook and
then
Instagram.
Does it have this logo?
Yes, our main logo's on there. Right now, I think our Friends of Pokagon page actually has a picture of the wreaths and that stuff on there.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, you definitely see the logo there too.
Okay, nice. So can you share the story behind the nonprofit's founding? Like, how did that all form?
From my understanding, that, like I said, the community members have gotten together, seeing a need for it, and I mean, they had different things where, I've got little notes here on some of it. They just discussed with Pokagon staff, so some of it was staff talking with regulars around the community. I mean, I know that because we're on James, and their lake associations and stuff had come together with some of that, so that was some of the funding in the first place, but just that need to increase awareness along with promote it, because the big beach out front, and the different activities that they've had out there, because they've got the seaplane splashing that they do.
Yes. So the Friends participate in that as well?
We don't organize that, but we try to help when it comes to volunteers being there and set up booth for, like, sometimes refreshments, water, stuff like that on hand. Same thing with is it Patriots for Pops? Something like where they bring the Philharmonic.
The patriotic Pops, yes.
Where they bring the Philharmonic in type stuff. So that again is a park activity, but we help support that. But that was the idea, was the fact that with staffing, and especially in these days, it's like everybody's short on staff.
Right.
And so they need people, like the Nature Center. One of the reasons the Nature Center is open, being able to have hours right now, is because there's so many volunteers. Now, it's not necessarily board members that are volunteering, but we help try to organize, get volunteers to staff that when they don't have actual employees in the park. So.
Now, how many members do you have currently? Do you know?
Oh, goodness gracious. That's something else I should have looked up too. I think last year we ended up with, I want to say 63-ish, 65-ish members.
Okay.
It varies a little bit here and there. Board members, I think there's only allowed to be 15 board members. We currently have 12 voting board members, and then an ex officio, is that how you pronounce it, who's not a voting board member, but he's our legal guy. When it comes to our bylaws, and it's like, okay, because we do run it as a, strictly, you've got the whole call to order, the vote, everything involved with that, and he's the guy that we go to when it comes to, does that need a vote? How do we, what are we allowed to do, not allowed to do type of thing,
So he helps to facilitate the meeting.
Well, he's our backup. I mean, I run them, since I'm the board chair, I run the meeting, but he's our legal guy if there's something that we question as to what we can and cannot do by bylaws or stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. And your meetings are on a Tuesday?
Yep, the first Tuesday of every month we meet here in the auditorium, 7 o'clock at night. It's a board meeting, but members are always welcome.
Okay.
There are 2 annual, or supposed to be in our bylaws, 2 annual members meetings. The main annual members meeting takes place normally in April, and that's where each year, that's where all members have a voting right to be able to vote people onto the board.
Okay.
And then from there, it's just the board that's allowed to vote during the year. But we welcome members to come in and give ideas, discuss things, help us with making decisions on what we do purchase, what we don't, try and come up with programming. and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So it's the first Tuesday here in the auditorium at the Nature Center at 7 p.m.
Yep.
And then how much does it cost to be a member?
I think student membership is $10, individual membership is $25, family membership is $35, and then there's some different names of memberships, like, the 50 at 100 where they got bountiful member versus, I don't know, some different names that they have to level. So we have one patron that does not live nearby, but they stop through here at least once a year, and he's a $1,000 member every year, that comes in, and versus some that are standard, $250 versus most of ours I think are like family memberships.
Okay.
And there again, those memberships we encourage just because even if you don't have the time to volunteer and physically serve, that money in itself helps us to be able to do what we do. Yeah,
there's all sorts of ways to give your time, talent, and treasure.
Yep.
Okay. So who do you serve, which we kind of talked about, that you serve the park and the impact you've seen in the community. So through the programming, how do you see that impact community involvement and engagement with the programming here at the park?
The enjoyment that people have. I mean, when like just hikes like this, people start looking forward to it, and so that's where it was kind of surprising we had this money on a cold day, and yet once somebody's been out here, they try to come back the next year. Our Christmas Eve morning hike, we've got Santa out there, and normally Mrs. Santa is out there too, type of stuff, and elves and whatever with candy canes. Our spooky night hike, I mean, that in the past 2 years has exploded, and we had over 600 people at our spooky night hike.
Wow.
The year before was 400 and something. And it's just neat because it's like people, they look forward to it, they schedule it, they know it's like, hey, when's it going to be type of stuff. And they plan to be out there for it, which is neat because that's the idea, is to get people out and enjoy it. And sometimes it's that first advertised hike of that spooky night hike, and then hey, let's go back during the day sometime, and it gets people involved. And the more people you get to enjoy the park, the more awareness you can get the fact that hey, we've got to upkeep the park. We've got to, this is nature, and what we can do to make sure that areas like this stay nice and stay open to the public and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we talked about it before we started recording this conversation. I don't remember if we said it, mentioned it here, but it is like in the 20s today.
Yes.
And you had 88 people.
88 is how many she clicked, but then once she started on the walk, because I was one of the back people in there, we had another dozen coming from the parking lot. And like you said, it's like you got caught up at the gate and couldn't quite get into that in time for it. So yeah, we had people that. So we had a good 88 that were clicked into the count of.
Yeah, so for next year, just make sure, because everybody's buying their season passes too, which are $50.
Yes.
So, and those passes will get you into all the Indiana state parks.
Yes.
So
beautiful state parks. If you've never ventured to the other state parks, I mean, Pokagon's one of the top ranked parks. But each of them, I mean, I have favorites. It's like too many favorites because they have different things to offer. So Pokagon has its own things to offer, but some of the other state parks, and it gets you into all of them.
Yes, but so I think that was kind of the holdup, is that everybody's buying their new state passes, and then, so for future reference, if you want to participate in the first day hike, come early. Learn from my lesson.
And we have hot cocoa and cookies.
Yes.
And a nice big fire, so even if it's cold, the fire's warm.
Very true, yes. And even if you are running late, come, because you'll be able to see where everybody's walked, especially on a snowy day like today.
Oh yeah, easy to follow the path.
Yes. So what programs or initiatives are you most proud of right now? Is it mostly hikes, or is it,
hikes is what we have, so our spooky night hike and how well we've gotten that, so that, because it takes time to set up. I mean, the hike itself doesn't start till 7, it goes from 7 to 9, but we're here at 4:35 to start setting. But it's a smooth setup anymore, and the fact that we've been able to get some high school kids to join, we've got some trying kids that come over and join us when it comes to volunteer hours. And I've been really trying to push to try to get more high school involvement, because I think we need to hit some of the younger kids to get them liking the parks and helping with that too. And so between that park, and then we had a lot of kids help with our wreath making this year.
Nice.
So we had a lot of volunteers with that, and so getting the kids engaged with that has been great. And so, but yeah, that spooky night hike or lantern lit hike, are always fun and great ones that I think we're pretty proud of, that we're finally starting to explore adding some hikes. I know we've got another night hike in March, that we're doing, and so we're just trying to add a few more, along with, maybe some, Saturday workshops. At our annual meeting, we try to do a workshop. Last year we did a wildflower, bomb, but trying to make little wildflower, I don't know if you've seen the little paper things that you can gift, whatever, take home. You just pull a drill on it, water it, and it's got wildflowers in it.
Oh,
so making some of
okay.
that little stuff, but craft things that we can get more people involved, more youth involved.
Oh, I love
so we've
that.
got the ideas, you know, and that's the neat thing. We've got the ideas. We've got, our board is good at coming up with ideas and trying to get that stuff organized. It's just a matter of, sometimes it takes the extra volunteers to actually follow through.
I love the fact that you get involved with the Trine students, because I know that they have to put in community service hours, so it's great that you let them, make them aware of the volunteer time we can have here. Now, as far as the youth in the other schools, what schools do you reach out to? Do you reach out to the homeschooling community as well?
We have not, but it's a hope to. I mean, I work at Fremont, and so Fremont High School's been an easy one to tap into. And so they're the ones that helped us more with the wreaths. But we did have, and that's like NHS and the Key Club. Those are two groups that have to get hours, volunteer hours in.
NHS,
but this
National Honor Society.
Yes, National Honor, yeah. And then the Key Club, which is a nonprofit that works through Kiwanis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then there's the FIST, right?
Yes, and FIST gave us a grant this year to help with, when it came to paying for the bird seed and the ingredients. Like I said, we had all the boxes and stuff, but FIST gave us a grant to pay for the ingredients that we needed for these wreaths this year.
And FIST is a program through the Steuben County Community Foundation that stands for Forever Improving Student.
Yeah, together. Yes, and that includes the Hamilton, Angola, and Fremont students.
Okay.
Yeah, and 8th grade through senior, one person per grade at all three of those schools.
Okay.
And they meet once a month and give out grants and stuff like that, yeah. We did work with the Angola Key Club this past year. One of the ideas that came from, because we had put out surveys to members, and kind of asked for, hey, ideas for fundraising or whatever, or any other ideas, and the Key Club sponsor from Angola had reached out saying that their club would really like to do a little library. And so they funded, painted, and we had a board member that's good working with wood. He built, and so we have a little library that's set up now at our camp store that we are, and that's one of the things that
where is the camp? Is it
at the
campground?
Yeah, at the campground. But yeah, as you go into the campground, there's a booth to check in to go into the campground, but there's a camp store right there.
Okay.
And as people walk up to there's a little library there that we have registered with whatever the little library thing is, because there's a registry, whatever, it's all registered type of stuff with the little library. I don't know what the title thing's called.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, but because there are little libraries all over the place, and some of them are just like neighborhood people put them up, but there's a registration to be able to connect it so you can see where they're located.
Okay.
And the Friends does a good job about finding books. So we've come up with donations for books
borrow
versus.
books and return them?
Yes, I mean, that's the idea of them, is like the borrow and return, but there's a lot of them that disappear that we just put anything in there.
Oh, okay.
You know, I know books like when the Fremont Public Library did a book sale, Angola Angola Public Library has a seller that they have used books that you can go and buy for 25 cents, 50 cents.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they have a book or a bag for $2 type of stuff that we've had members go in and pull from, toddler types of books to teen books and adult books. We've tried to like stock it with everything, and it disappears. It disappears.
So is it the idea of reading in nature? Is that what it's for? Or?
Reading in nature, reading in general. I mean, it's a mindfulness thing. I mean, that's something else we did this past year. Is we created a mindfulness trail that's now posted on the actual state website, not just our website. But the state kind of took it over and said, "Oh, hey, we like this. We'll put it up on our state website for Pokagon." But it's somewhat of that, in the sense that another way to enjoy being out in nature, another way to enjoy the peacefulness, disconnect with the phones, disconnect with the Wi-Fi, and so that was part of it, was hey, let's give them, you know, something that's a little better for people sometimes.
Okay, no, I love that. Oh, okay. All right, so how do you measure success for both the organization and the people that you serve?
For the organization that we keep running, I mean, that's you know, we're a nonprofit, so we're not trying to have a profit by any means, but to know that we have the money there when we're approached for something. You know, some things it's okay, it's only 100 here for this, a couple hundred there for that.
Right.
Cocoa and cookies isn't too bad, but 2 heavy-duty snowblowers, you know, for the toboggan run, that costs, you know, a couple $1,000, you know, I mean, that's not so cheap to just say, hey, yeah, we've got them. So, I mean, making sure that we keep a balance there and that we can say yes whenever we're asked, you know, that's some of the success, because that's what we're here for, is to help out with things.
And then, I mean, you mentioned the number of people that come to these hikes and these programs, so is that another measure? Is can we continue getting the word out there and getting more people engaged and enjoying it, and maybe being kind of like your raving fans where they're sharing it with other people and inviting them to come back?
And that's what we've seen with that Spooky Night Hike at times. That's what we've seen during the summer with some of the events that the park puts on and that we help support, and because the Pokagon State Park has a Facebook page where they, you know, put out announcements, but our Friends has its own, and so we try to share and put out those, you know, as more advertising, get more people out there. And it's neat to see when you have somebody that comes for the first time versus like, oh, I came last year and I brought, you know, friends this year too, type of stuff, because they're excited to come back the next year to do it. And so yeah, it's neat to hear that and engage that, because they come up and talk to you about it. So yeah.
So I mean, I'm most familiar with the hikes, and then you did mention that you also support different activities like the Splash-In and the patriotic hikes when the Philharmonic comes. What are some other things, like how can people understand what the different volunteer opportunities are if they want to become a member? Or
the naturalist is one way. I mean, because anybody that, a lot of times when we put out for volunteers, it's because the naturalist has asked for volunteers. So programming that the park does, and she seeks volunteers in other ways than what we do, but she'll also ask me, hey, I need help with volunteers, and so we start asking our members. I mean, that's our little link that is like, if you're a member, we have your email address normally, because we also have a newsletter that we send out. And so the same way we send out that newsletter, I've sent out a general email saying, hey, you know, this month we've got these volunteer opportunities, we need help, and whether it's just being there to help hand out water versus there are times Amy's just needed tables to be moved around because of the different setup that needs to be taken, you know, put in here because of whatever program is taking place. And so the volunteerism can be following through with the caboose of a hike. It can be just moving some stuff around, setting some things up, or that presence of being at a table that has the water out, making sure things are running. She's had volunteers work in the nature center, and a lot of that involves, I mean, there's a little bit of a sale going on. So simple crafts register, but it's also keeping tabs of count of people coming in, because state wants you to keep tabs of things like that. Feeding the birds. She's got volunteers that come out to feed the birds. You know, so there are like, there are a variety of different things that can, in different ways, you know. Sometimes I know there are a couple times a year that they do a bird count, and so volunteering to just be present for a couple hours, and they just did one Saturday, I think they did a bird count. Where they were from time the nature center was open to the end, they had somebody there, and it was a matter of keeping track of the different kinds of birds that that came through and stuff. So
now I know that, so you alluded to Amy Wentworth. I just had the interview with her and shared that, and she's the master naturalist for the nature center, and I know that they have their program called the Indiana Master Naturalist that's through the DNR that is coming up in March.
I think it starts in March or April.
And it's twice a month.
About that, it's normally like I think there are 10 or 11 sessions in it. I think about 4 of them maybe are on Saturdays. I'm not sure what day of the week she scheduled the other ones for. I'm actually an Indiana Master Naturalist. I went through that, and that's how I started getting involved in the first place. Fun, excellent. I mean, hated spiders, snakes type of stuff, and you get a new appreciation for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's very interesting. Those classes are great. I would recommend it to anybody that's got the time to take them.
And I have done it, I haven't
Yeah.
gotten certified, but, is that something that the Friends get involved in as well?
We don't do any presentations there because she gets people that are qualified. I mean, we're not
Right.
qualified necessarily to run a wild edible program or whatever type of stuff. We do fund some things for her. So I know last year, we donated 5 or 6 gas cards to the presenters because the presenters can't get paid. Some of them, if they're state employee type of stuff, they don't, so it's like it's a gas card to say thank you. So we've been able to provide, because that's hours they have to serve, type of thing. But we provide that little extra thank you. So we provide gas cards to just be nice to the presenters for taking the time to come here, versus it's a cost for anybody that takes the class. There's a $10 fee that goes to the state plus, I don't remember how much, 140, 150-ish that when it comes to the materials, the books that you get and whatever. And so we've covered sometimes that extra $10 that goes to the state. So we help a little bit with that to lessen the cost for some of the people that are taking the class versus to thank you for the presenters that are doing it.
Now, as a volunteer for Friends, can you earn some of those hours that if you wanted to get certified as a Master Naturalist after going through the classes, do you guys provide those opportunities?
Oh gosh, any of the volunteer, I mean, it's our meetings themselves, when it comes to being a board member, our meetings themselves count as volunteer hours. Because
that can
it's,
apply to the,
it's a nonprofit, and so me serving as the board chair here, those are hours that I earn. Anytime we go to any of these events, they're hours that we earn. Amy does a lot of invasive species, weed pulls and stuff like that. So those little hikes and whatever, those are volunteer hours.
Somebody had mentioned something to me about getting a weed wrangle program together. So do you guys oversee that? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah, we normally Amy organizes it. I think we organized one of them last year, but I know we supported it. Because we had board members, we had friends there, we helped advertise for it. Sometimes if there's snacks involved, like I said, we'll supply the snacks to any of the volunteers type of thing, so that, hey, come out, we've got snacks for you, we've got beverages, come out. So we support it that way too. But yeah,
Nice. What are some of the challenges you face and how have you overcome them?
We're still trying to overcome some of it, but we need volunteers. I mean, that's some of the biggest challenges we have. Like, I enjoyed our board. Our board members are great. We've come up with some great ideas, but a lot of us are full-time employees somewhere else. I mean, this is a volunteer, organization, nonprofit. So the ideas are there. The organization of it's there at times, but getting the follow through with having enough people that have the time to put in has been the harder part. And so finding some of that extra time that people might have, and I know sometimes that's hard to schedule with people. It's hard to try to organize that. So that's the biggest thing. But being able to start tapping into some of the high schools and into trying, that's what's helped.
Now, what are the hours that you typically need? Are they during the day, in the evening, weekends? When are those volunteer hours needed most? They do. Okay.
That's just it. They vary.
Okay.
Sometimes like our hikes. The Spooky Night hike, the Lantern hike, these are in the evenings on the weekend. On busier weekends. I mean, the Spooky Night hike is the weekend right before Halloween. Lantern hike is the weekend right before Valentine's Day. A lot of times people have stuff going on. The Christmas Eve morning hike is Christmas Eve morning. But, so it's like people, we have different things going on. Everybody does. And so trying to, and some of that stuff when it comes to just an hour here, an hour there. I mean, selling the wreaths, it's like setting up. We set up at the toboggan run for several hours one day, and so it's like, well, but that's just it. Just little time slots of things. The hoedown that we help them with. It's like sometimes it's just a lot of those are evening ones. Her hikes are in the afternoon. Some of the programming she does. We've had, we did do an amateur ham radio thing. Yeah, where they it's the old-fashioned get on there and try to connect with people across the nation or,
Oh, really?
or around the world type of stuff through a radio system. And we did that out of Trying State Rec this past summer. And so just having volunteers, and that was an all-day activity. You know, so having somebody there just to, you know, help oversee things because of the people that were there and, you know, direct people. And
so the main challenge is finding volunteers. What are some of the ways, other than reaching out to your high school students and to trying students, how do you get the general public to engage and volunteer? What are some of the things you've done?
That's just the Facebook page.
Okay.
You know, we've sent out to our members. Some of it, when it comes to park volunteer though, students, because it's a state park, there has to be a form filled out.
Okay.
So for students, that just takes a parent's signature. For adults, there's a short, like small background check that's done. And so that paperwork has to be filled out a few weeks ahead of time. And so that becomes a challenge that we can't just say, hey, come meet us on this day and you can help, because Amy Wentworth needs that paperwork ahead of time because it's a public property and just the safety issue things.
Right,
and
so
that makes it a little hard to just kind of put out there to anybody versus members already, you know, at times have filled out that form or know of it, or we can contact them to email them that form.
Okay.
And so it's harder to just go with the general public, since if it's on the public property or the state park property,
Right.
they have to have that form filled out ahead of time.
Okay.
So that's.
And then, do they have to, do your volunteers all have to pay for the entrance fee?
No. If we have a set activity going on,
Okay.
then we can note, at the gate, we can put through the fact that, hey, we've got, you know, this many people or these certain people or whatever that are gonna come through to volunteer. So no, if it's a volunteer that doesn't have a park pass, we're able to get them to.
Okay, because I think having that knowledge,
Yes.
that might entice people too, is like they wanna volunteer, but they don't wanna pay that $7 or whatever it is.
And volunteering, if you add up 40 hours of volunteer, which at a state park, doesn't matter if it's the state park or multiple state parks, if you add up, I believe it's 40 hours of volunteer hours, working in a state park like that, you can get a free pass for the next year.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would entice some people too.
And it's really not hard to add up those 40 hours.
no.
You know, it's not.
Not at all. So, okay, that's good to know. I'll make sure we add that to the article. Okay. Oops. I don't know what I did there. Okay, here we go. So, is there a memorable story that you'd like to share, or testimonials from people that have been impacted by the work that you do?
I don't know what that means. That was one thing I should have asked others about, but I have better ideas. I mean, I've been involved with this now for a couple of years now, and but I don't have some of those hands-on experiences with some of the people. I do a lot of the background stuff, so I'm not the one that's out chatting all the time with
Gotcha.
people.
Okay.
So I don't have any stories that I can think of offhand.
I think that would be
so-
great, is if you could get some of the people that have come to the programs to like share.
Yeah.
You know, like that whole family that at the end of the hike, they were enjoying the cookies and the hot cocoa,
Yeah.
and what brought them out.
Yeah. I think we're starting because our newsletter, we have newer board members that just joined us in the past year, and it took several months to get a newsletter back up and going, because that's one of our membership perks is a newsletter. But that's something that she's been working hard on, and it's a really nice layout. But that's one of those things that we're going to start trying to feature is some of those connections, and get more patrons, more volunteers, more just people that show up. You know, some of, like you said, some of their little stories, some of that stuff to share.
Yeah.
So it is something we'd like to add to.
Because people might not think about, like, I mean, there might be a moment of growth that, you know, kid out on the trail, you know, experiences, and
Yes.
they can share that.
Yeah.
And it might inspire somebody else to bring their children out here too, to have the same experiences. So we kind of already talked about how the volunteers and donors contribute to the mission. What other partnerships or collaborations have strengthened your different efforts? Mostly it's with the park.
Right.
Are there other entities or organizations that you have partnered with in the community?
I think not so much now, but we're trying to get that back. Like I said, it's like I wasn't part of the founding of this,
Okay.
and I know the Lake James Lake Association, or
Okay.
I don't know how many different ones there are for. Sometimes there's a North Shore, but I know they were part of the original setup of it when it came to finances and that stuff.
Okay.
And in the past year, I've had a lot of people that are involved with Lake James, Jefferson Snow Lake.
Okay.
There's a woodworkers group, and I don't remember the name, but they donated some of the newer birdhouses that we put out. So we're trying to do just that, is get a better connection with them. We know,
Do you do
because they've
anything
reached out
with
some.
the Lakes Council?
No.
Okay.
Not that we don't want to, but that's something that we've discussed as a board as to, okay, how do we go about it and getting the contacts, because we've had interest come to us and say, oh, hey, you should get a hold of them, you should be, I've done it, so we're starting to oh, okay, yeah, we should.
Okay.
So we're starting to work towards that so that we have more support in that way.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like more people that are engaged in other organizations and their network of people, it can just make it a lot easier.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay, so what are some of the goals or projects that you're working towards in this coming year?
Well, right there are some of the goals. I mean, in the sense that, like I said, we want to reach out and get a part of things. The Steuben County Community Foundation has been a good, link with some things. We're looking at adding not necessarily more hikes versus more programs. Like I said, I really want to see something that we provide that gets more youth involved with volunteering out here and being a part of things. It'd be neat to have, youth actually wanting to be members and a part of this.
Right.
And so that's kind of a goal on some of it. Activity-wise, I'm trying to think of some of the stuff we talked about. I don't know. Offhand, I can't think of, big things versus stuff that's still kind of in discussion as to what we can do. Fundraising was one, because of not wanting to have to rely solely on membership fees versus being able to fund a little bit more than what we do.
No, so you went through the Master Naturals class, and you know all the field guides that we get, all the field books, and I think that I'm just on here, I know it's kind of on the spot, but if you created some programming around that, I think that you could, and reached out to people that have gone through the class, I know it's something that I would probably participate in, because I have those field books, and I have all the greatest of intentions to get them back out and use them and go identify trees and wildflowers and birds and all this stuff. And I love those field guides, but sometimes you kind of need a little prompting. So you guys did that, and it could probably even be a fundraiser where
and that's what some of the talk has been with that, because like some of it with the birds, it's been a big focus, because we also tried to, today's hike was supposed to be, hey, bringing some bird feed, bird seed to help support the nature centers, bird would go out there. And so some of the activities that we've tried to think of, to do a workshop, to be able to, hey, here's an indoor workshop to take outside too, and do just that, and to go walk around to see some of the flowers, see some of the birds, whatever. It's the thoughts are there, but there again, the thoughts and the organization can be there, but we don't always have the volunteers to follow through with it.
Okay.
And so we have some of those ideas, but it's we don't always have
the manpower
to follow through with all of that.
Completely understand that. Yep. Okay. Well, it's getting the word out there. So hopefully, by doing this, putting it on YouTube, putting it on Facebook, and people sharing it and engaging with it, the hope is that this will further that communication so other people can engage. Okay, so you mentioned the way that community members can get involved or support the work is through the Nature Center, or they can contact you directly.
Yeah, they can contact Friends of Pokagon directly. Okay. And then again, that we now have connection through the website. We have email addresses that are posted there versus on the Facebook and Instagram that you can message through that way. Okay. Various ways that way versus become a member. But then the Nature Center, Amy Wentworth always has volunteer opportunities that way too. And so contacting her can be ways to
And I will make sure that I include that website in there, so that people can have access to it. Okay. And then what message would you like to share to the people that are gonna be reading the article or viewing this video? That, you know, about the importance of your mission. Again, to just kind of bring it full circle, what is it that you really want to hit home with them?
It's a good one. I mean, our mission statement in general, I mean, it's like, we're here to support, but it's like, a lot of it's the enjoyment. You know, we want anybody on this board, it's like, we enjoy the park. You know, we want others to come and enjoy the park and the different parts of it. And it's like, and some people, you know, aren't used to being outdoors versus, and aren't outdoorsy people, and that's okay, you know, because even just sitting in here, you know, in front of the bird window and being able to just enjoy the piece of the variety of birds and squirrels and chipmunks that come running by, and the different hikes that can be taken. It's more that enjoyment of nature, the peace that you can get from it, and then realizing the importance of the upkeep of it, you know, and the conservation of it, and that. And so, yeah.
How did you, I mean, your connection to this was because you went through the Master Naturalist program, or what?
Because that's how I found out about the Friends of Pokagon in general. Okay. I mean, I'm an outdoorsy types of person. I've always enjoyed the outdoors. In getting ready to retire from teaching is like one of those things where it's like, oh, Indiana Master Naturalist, oh, that sounds interesting, because I was like, I like to be outside. Let me learn a little bit more about this outside stuff and the park stuff. And it was actually COVID that got me out into Pokagon in general versus on the lakes and, you know, just the regular woods or whatever type of stuff. But the class itself just, you know, opened my eyes to more things, and again, an appreciation for snakes and spiders that I never had. And you know that, okay, these are not dangerous ones around here. We're in a very safe place in northern Indiana. Nothing to fear. They fear you more than you fear them.
Right.
But yeah, that's where I found out about Friends of Pokagon. And I'm a very, you know, I'm all about the conservation and environmental, and, you know, I'm a recycler, I'm a reuser, I'm a don't use the plastic in the first place type of person. And so thinking, yes, this is a way to help, you know, keep this earth a, you know, beautiful place to be in, and to get people to realize that it's there.
Right.
You know, and teaching in Fremont, it's like some of these kids, it's like, you're right here, and I mean, I didn't necessarily know so much about this park until COVID hit, and it's like, I mean, I lived here, and it's like, wow.
It's
you know, it's like there's just
appreciation of what's in your backyard.
Yeah.
So
and the peace and just the neat. I mean, just it's a beautiful.
Okay. And so you have room for people to be on the board. You have a few extra seats there.
We have at least, I believe we have at least 2, if not 3 seats that are definitely open in the that are already open in the upcoming April election. And then there will be 2 or 3 members, because the way they organized it is that it's a 3-year like a 3-year term.
Okay.
But when they first started it, they made it jagged. So that first year there were some 1-year members, 2-year members, and 3-year members, so that each year there'd be a rotation. So now everybody's always a 3-year member, but that way there's a rotation. And so some people will be up, not that we want them voted off, but it still provides opportunity for some change and yet some stability to be able to bring ideas, to be able to keep things going. But yeah, there are definitely some empty spots that could be filled this next year.
Okay.
So,
so they have varying levels that they can participate and engage.
Yeah, and being on the board doesn't mean you are in charge of certain committees. I mean, we do have, you know, the secretary, the vice chair, the chair, treasurer, which we might need a new one. Not sure of her term, but you know, if anybody's interested in accounting. But so there's a certain chair positions versus just being on the board, and again, it's a volunteer time. So coming to the meeting's important, and then it's like when you can help at activities. It's not like you have to, but you know, the idea is that hopefully you can on some of the things to support.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time to meet with me today. I know, especially after you just set up the first day hike and then have to bring everything in and set it up here. And you know, if you're out and about, I don't know if I'll get this out today, but we'll try. And I know that you're open till 5 o'clock today.
Yeah,
So
the
you
Nature
have,
Center's open till 5.
you have different hours in the winter.
Yeah, I think they're mainly, it's either 10 to 5 or noon to 5, Wednesday through Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, I believe they're closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still have the.
Yes, we still have the wreaths for sale. We're out of ornaments, but if they were ordered, we'd make more of them. And so there are times where I've got a table set up here that they can be picked up here.
Okay.
It's cash check, or we do have PayPal. They can be pre-ordered, and we can arrange for pickup delivery in Fremont or Angola easy enough.
Okay.
Because when you order it, there's a place to put email, and then I end up emailing to say, hey, we got it where you want to meet up, and so
Okay.
it's an easy task.
Okay, well, very nice. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope this is informative to you, and if you know of anybody that wants to volunteer their time, get more engaged, loves nature, but they don't know how to participate, please pass this along to them. So with that, we will say so long for right now and look forward to introducing another nonprofit spotlight in the months to come. Take care.